Good evening and welcome to NoorNews. Tonight, we lead with the Polish Prime Minister's assessment of the missile strike on Polish soil, alongside breaking reports of retaliatory U.S. strikes against Iranian targets. Stay with us as we bring you the latest developments on these critical global stories. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has stated that the missile which struck a site near the village of Tarnowa Kolonia was likely of Russian origin. The impact, which occurred approximately 100 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, resulted in a crater measuring 10 meters wide and 33 feet deep. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, authorities are currently conducting a thorough investigation to confirm the projectile's trajectory and specific technical specifications. While the proximity to the border has raised significant concerns regarding regional security, officials are working to verify the exact circumstances surrounding the incident. The site remains cordoned off as forensic teams analyze debris recovered from the impact zone. This event follows a series of heightened tensions in the region, with international observers closely monitoring the findings of the Polish government. Both the BBC and Al Jazeera have noted that while the initial assessment points toward Russian manufacturing, a definitive conclusion remains pending the final results of the ongoing technical analysis. The Polish government has indicated it will provide further updates as more evidence is processed by military experts and international partners involved in the security assessment of the border zone. The Secretary-General of the Gulf Cooperation Council, Jasem Mohammed al-Badawi, has issued a strong condemnation regarding the drone attack targeting Egypt's port of Damietta. According to the Qatar news agency, al-Badawi expressed his firm rejection of any actions that threaten the security and stability of the Arab Republic of Egypt, emphasizing the GCC's unwavering support for Cairo in its efforts to protect its national interests and maritime infrastructure. The Secretary-General underscored that such hostile acts represent a dangerous escalation that undermines regional security and disrupts the flow of international trade through vital maritime corridors. He further called for immediate international cooperation to address the threats posed by unmanned aerial systems, which continue to jeopardize the safety of critical civilian and economic facilities across the region. The GCC statement reaffirms the Council's commitment to standing in solidarity with Egypt, highlighting the importance of maintaining regional stability amidst ongoing security challenges. While the investigation into the origin and trajectory of the drone remains ongoing, the GCC leadership has reiterated its stance that the protection of Egypt's sovereignty and the safety of its ports are essential to the broader security architecture of the Gulf and the wider Middle East. The United Arab Emirates has issued a strong condemnation regarding renewed hostile actions directed toward Kuwait and Jordan, citing a significant escalation in regional instability. This diplomatic response follows a series of volatile military developments across the Gulf. According to Al Jazeera, footage released by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps appears to document retaliatory strikes targeting United States positions within Jordanian territory. Simultaneously, reports from Al Jazeera indicate that smoke has been observed rising over locations in southern Iran following renewed military strikes attributed to U.S. forces. These overlapping reports of cross-border engagement have prompted urgent calls for de-escalation from regional stakeholders. The UAE's statement emphasizes the necessity of respecting sovereign borders and maintaining international security protocols amidst the intensifying friction. While the precise scope of the damage remains under assessment, the reported strikes represent a notable shift in the operational theater, moving beyond localized skirmishes toward broader regional involvement. International observers are currently monitoring the situation for further developments, as the potential for miscalculation remains high. The UAE has reiterated its commitment to regional stability, urging all parties to exercise maximum restraint to prevent a wider conflict that could further destabilize the Gulf and its surrounding territories. The United States has launched a series of what officials describe as powerful retaliatory strikes against targets linked to Iran, marking a significant escalation in regional tensions. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the military operation follows a period of heightened friction and specific security incidents involving regional assets. While the Pentagon has characterized these strikes as a necessary response to ongoing threats, the exact scope of the damage remains under assessment by international observers. Concurrently, authorities in Egypt have launched a formal investigation into a fire that broke out at a port facility, which officials suspect was triggered by a drone strike. While the two events are being monitored for potential links, regional analysts are currently examining whether the incident in Egypt is a direct consequence of the broader regional instability or an isolated security breach. Emergency services in the area have managed to contain the blaze, and port operations are currently suspended pending a full safety review. International diplomatic channels remain active as world leaders call for restraint, fearing that the current cycle of military actions could further destabilize critical maritime trade routes and energy infrastructure across the Middle East. Further updates are expected as more information becomes available from local authorities. The death toll from the earthquake that struck Japan's Kumamoto prefecture has risen to 28, according to the latest government figures released on Thursday. Chief Cabinet Secretary Minoru Kihara confirmed the updated count, noting that the total includes individuals whose deaths are suspected to be related to the seismic event, even if they did not perish directly from the initial tremors. The disaster has caused widespread structural damage and triggered significant emergency response efforts across the region. According to the BBC, rescue teams and local authorities are continuing to navigate difficult conditions as they search for survivors and assess the full extent of the destruction. The government has mobilized additional resources to support the affected communities, focusing on providing shelter, medical aid, and essential supplies to those displaced by the disaster. While search and rescue operations remain the primary priority, officials are also beginning to evaluate the long-term impact on infrastructure, including transportation networks and power grids. As aftershocks continue to affect the area, authorities have urged residents to remain vigilant and follow safety protocols. The government has pledged to maintain a transparent flow of information as the recovery process continues and the full scale of the tragedy is further clarified in the coming days. The Reserve Bank of India has issued an updated Basel Pillar 3 disclosure framework, introducing 10 specific amendment directions for commercial banks operating within the country. According to the Times of Oman, these revised instructions are designed to enhance the transparency and consistency of risk-related disclosures across the banking sector. The new framework mandates that banks provide more granular data regarding their capital adequacy, risk exposure, and leverage ratios, aligning domestic practices more closely with international regulatory standards. By refining these disclosure requirements, the central bank aims to strengthen market discipline and provide stakeholders with a clearer view of the financial health of individual institutions. The amendments follow a period of consultation and are intended to ensure that banks maintain robust reporting mechanisms in an increasingly complex global financial environment. Commercial banks are now expected to integrate these updated guidelines into their upcoming reporting cycles, ensuring that all Pillar 3 disclosures reflect the latest regulatory expectations. This move is part of a broader effort by the Reserve Bank of India to bolster the resilience of the banking system and improve the quality of information available to investors and regulators alike. The updated framework is effective immediately, with banks required to align their internal systems to meet these new reporting obligations. Thousands of residents and tourists have been evacuated from the Rethymno region of Crete as wildfires continue to spread across the Greek island. According to reports from the BBC, the situation has been significantly exacerbated by strong, gusting winds that have fanned the flames, making containment efforts increasingly difficult for local emergency services. The fires have reached the periphery of several popular tourist resorts, prompting authorities to issue urgent evacuation orders to ensure the safety of both visitors and local populations. Emergency crews are currently working under challenging conditions to establish fire breaks and prevent the blaze from encroaching further into populated areas. While the intensity of the fire has fluctuated due to shifting wind patterns, officials remain on high alert as the region experiences a period of extreme heat and dry conditions. The Greek government has deployed additional firefighting aircraft and ground units to assist in the operation, though the unpredictable nature of the terrain continues to complicate the response. Authorities are advising those in the affected areas to follow official guidance and monitor local emergency channels for real-time updates as the situation evolves throughout the day. International observers are monitoring the impact on the region's critical tourism infrastructure as the firefighting efforts persist. Thank you for joining us for this verified bulletin on today's most pressing international headlines. We remain committed to accuracy and transparency. NoorNews, verified before published.